Right, so today we are unpacking a case study that reads exactly like a modern digital nightmare. We're examining the widely documented, deeply chilling story of a famous US internet streamer named Jake. But look, this isn't just your standard breakdown of a spooky location or some urban legend. Oh no, we're framing this as a gripping cautionary tale. It's a deep dive into the dangerous and sometimes literally fatal psychology behind the endless pursuit of internet fame. It's a fascinating but terrifying look at what actually happens when the insatiable desire for online views collides head on with the unknown, and how the pressure of an audience can push creators to fatal extremes. Okay, let's dive into this. Everything starts with a digital hook, right? Just imagine sitting at home, building your audience, grinding for views day after day, and suddenly a strange, anonymous, highly lucrative message pops up on your phone. It was a direct, irresistible challenge to our streamer: spend a single night alone in the infamous Blackwood haunted house and win $10,000. For someone whose entire livelihood depends on engagement, that is the absolute ultimate setup for a viral video. It's the kind of content that guarantees a massive spike in subscribers. So naturally, Jake's initial reaction was to just laugh it off. After all, ghosts aren't real, right? But here is where the psychology of the modern streamer really takes over the narrative. See, his own friends actually warned him about the location, telling him directly, people enter that house, but they never stay the same. But Jake, he completely dismissed the idea of genuine danger. Actually, scratch that, he laughed at it. It's a classic symptom of the influencer mindset, that deep-seated belief that holding a camera somehow creates a protective bubble around you. He was entirely blinded by the promise of that prize money, and far more importantly to a rising creator, the massive clout of a legendary viral livestream. And just take a look at how incredibly unprepared he was to survive a night in an abandoned, decaying building. He brought a flashlight, a camera, and his phone. That is it. The whole shebang. This inventory really highlights a profound disconnect from reality. Driven entirely by the allure of this viral trap, Jake crossed the threshold of the Blackwood house at exactly 3 a.m., equipped with absolutely nothing but these three meager, battery-powered items to stand between him and the dark. But the moment he stepped inside, the reality of his situation violently changed. As we know from the audio of his stream, the heavy, old wooden door didn't just close, it violently slammed completely shut behind him. Bang. Jake completely froze. Plunged into a pitch-black, suffocating cloud of dusty air, the game ended right there, and reality set in. That protective bubble of the livestream was instantly shattered by the physical isolation of the house. Let's move to and see how this builds, because the timeline of terror escalates incredibly fast here. He enters at 3 a.m., the door seals him in, and then the silence of the dark, dusty house breaks. Almost right away, somewhere in the pitch black above him on the second floor, he begins to hear footsteps. Slow, heavy, dragging footsteps echoing methodically through the empty space. It's the absolute confirmation that he is not alone in the building. The psychological toll on Jake is immediate and visible. He turns to his only remaining connection to the outside world, his livestream audience watching safely from their screens, and with stark, dramatic emphasis, he whispers into his camera, "Guys, I think someone is inside." This is a profound shift. The confident, charismatic streamer chasing a viral check is entirely gone. He's replaced by a very real, visceral panic as he realizes the threat is real, and his audience literally cannot help him. And then, the sensory dread gets significantly worse. Standing in the pitch black of the long hallway, his only lifeline, the flashlight, begins to fail. It starts flickering erratically in the dark, on, off, on, off. It's deeply disorienting, stripping away his last shred of control over his environment and leaving him entirely vulnerable to the suffocating dark. The psychological weight of losing his vision pushes his panic to the absolute limit. In those terrifying, flickering moments of dark and light, the situation escalates from a suspected intruder to something way, way worse. A creepy, unnatural voice speaks from directly behind him. "Why did you come here?" Jake's heart must have pounded out of his chest. He spins around frantically to confront whoever is speaking to him, breathing heavily. But when the dying flashlight beam cuts through the darkness, absolutely nobody is there. So the crucial point is, survival instincts completely override the desire for content right here. The viral challenge doesn't matter anymore. Jake abandons the money, abandons the stream's objective, and desperately tries to leave. He sprints back to the entryway, But as he turns back to where he entered just minutes prior, the front door is gone. His escape route has vanished entirely, replaced by solid darkness and a blank wall. Trapped in the dark, breathing heavily, a seriously twisted irony unfolds. His third item, his phone, the very tool he used to build his fame, suddenly lights up. He receives a chilling, anonymous notification that simply reads, "You are not alone." This digital intrusion into a physical nightmare is the ultimate breaking point. It triggers sheer, unadulterated panic, sending Jake turning away from the vanished door and running blindly, desperately up the stairs toward those heavy footsteps he heard earlier. It is at the top of those stairs, at the very end of the rotting second-floor hallway, that he finally sees exactly who or what is in the house with him. The source footage documents the horrifying figure waiting for him very clearly. A pale woman. Long, matted black hair, dead white eyes, and a terrifying, unnatural smile fixed directly on him. The pale woman doesn't rush him. She doesn't attack. Instead, she slowly raises her hand, points a long finger directly at his chest, and whispers just two words: "Stay forever." The sheer, incomprehensible terror of this final command breaks him. Jake screams out loud, the camera hits the floor with a hard crack, and the live stream suddenly and abruptly ends, going completely black. And this brilliantly illustrates the grim aftermath of the Blackwood house case. When morning finally breaks, the police enter the abandoned property to investigate after thousands of terrified viewers call it in. They find Jake's camera exactly where it fell on the dusty floorboards, and terrifyingly, it is still powered on and recording. But as for Jake himself, despite thorough, exhaustive searches of the house and the surrounding area, there was absolutely no trace of the missing streamer. He was never found again. This brings us to a deeply haunting conclusion about the nature of our digital world. We really have to ask ourselves, what is the true price of the viral trap? Jake completely traded his safety, ignoring every clear warning from his friends and his own instincts, all for the promise of a payout and a fleeting moment of online validation. And as we consider his entirely unresolved fate, we are left haunted by one final, deeply unsettling question. What exactly was captured on the footage of that abandoned camera still recording in the dark?